What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Blueprints Brocast. My name is Jay Cruz.
I'm Austin Tokar.
And man, somebody was talking to me about bodybuilding because I've been doing it recently, just a little bit. And he was like, "Hey, how are you going with that bodybuilding thing?" Because he didn't, he's been dieting and stuff, but hasn't gotten to the weight part yet. He's just been following macros.
You know what's funny though? Is when people think about, the bodybuilding thing, they think it's more serious than just like, lifestyle habits.
Yeah.
No, it's all the same. It's just weightlifting and lifestyle habits. That's all bodybuilding is.
Yeah. Bodybuilding is just lifting a specific way rather than just like going in the gym and just kind of randomly just picking up weights and doing things.
Yeah.
And then eating for a specific result. Like, hey, I'm eating specifically so I have enough energy to do this. And then once I have enough energy to do that, the rest of the food is to build this. Like it's very specific.
But hey, you know what's crazy though? It's just the conception that people have about bodybuilding. Like, so Faith was at work. She has another coworker. I don't know if he works out or not, but like as soon as Faith says she works out, like, I mean, everyone knows that at her job, but as soon as he found out she works out, he's like, "You're a bodybuilder? I've never seen one before, a girl bodybuilder." And Faith's just like, "Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Just working out, man."
Yeah, for sure. Like, because I have these friends, a friend of mine that keeps inviting me to go work out with him. They work out at 5 o'clock in the morning and they do like CrossFit stuff. And I'm like, I'm not the body style that you end up having by doing CrossFit. I just don't want that. Yeah. And they go out at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, dude, I'm not waking up that early to run for a mile, do a bunch of Metcons, and then run again for a mile, and then like, yeah, bro, let's hug it out, man. We just worked out. I love community. Don't get me wrong. I love community when working out, but like I'm not about like the beating myself up and
at 5 a.m. too. Like I only ever trained at 4 a.m. when I had to. Yeah. If you don't have to, like, that's probably one of the worst times to train. Yeah. Think about it. Like resistance train. Oh yeah. Cardio's fine. Like that's cool. Wake yourself up, get the adrenaline going. There's something weird in there. Yeah, but wait till later in the day when your body warms up a little bit more before you start lifting weights.
Well, not even that. I need some food in me. Like I can't work out with like at least one good meal in me. I would prefer two because you got one now that's in you, and then you got the second one that you eat that's gonna fuel your workout a little bit. Yeah. But like, man, if I work out fasted, like when I used to do keto, the first couple times I did it, man, I was just like, why am I doing this to myself?
You get lightheaded. You don't feel as strong at first. You have to wait for your body to adapt to it. And then you're just kind of like, you'll get some instances where your blood sugar just drops. Yeah. Like really quick. Yeah. I hated that feeling, man.
What was I saying?
We were talking about your buddy.
Oh, yeah. And just what it takes to, like, we just talked about the eating aspect of it. And it gets so like mundane. Yeah. But the only reason why I can keep doing it is because I know what the results I'm trying to get. So like, I'm like, oh, I got to eat chicken and rice and veggies and that's it. Because I know also, honestly, it's just easier. Yeah. Like when you give yourself too many options to eat, then you're just kind of like, oh, I don't know what I need to eat. Oh, how much do I need to eat of this? Because something that most people that are serious about it try to do is they weigh out their food. And weighing the food, initially it seems like annoying, but then when you see the results that you get, and then you just the consistency and you know exactly what you're going to eat and all that stuff, it actually makes life easier when you know what you're going to eat, you know how much of it you're going to eat. It's just inconvenient to stop whatever you're doing and eat.
So let's put it into context, because you can do the fit your macros deal and that will get you results. Which like when I say if it fits your macros, I'm not talking about like having Pop-Tarts and ramen. You remember that one guy that used to post that stuff, the Asian guy, Filipino guy? He used to have like
Matt Ogus?
No.
The online trainer?
Sure. No. Well, he used to do some stuff too. He used to do some stuff too. But there's another Filipino guy. I'll show you later. He's a calisthenics guy mostly. Lives in Canada. He gets high every day.
Oh, okay. No.
But because I sent you guys a few things there. But that dude would just eat like whatever he could in the day. It didn't matter. I guess he could use it. But anyways, you can have almost whatever you want. You just want to make sure your base micronutrient panels is intact, and obviously you're hitting your macros consistently. Yeah, your macronutrient intake. But it's just so much easier when you have things intact. You understand and know what you're going to have for the day, and then sort of like a meal plan. because you don't have to think about it. You basically got rid of the thought process, because we have to think about so much throughout the day anyway. Why are you going to try to think about every single meal? And I think that's where people do get food focused, is because they're like, what's my next meal? What am I going to have? For next? And you start thinking about that literally right after you eat that first meal. You're like, all right, what's my next meal? I'm going to put that in right now. I think that's the part of if it fits your macros where people get obsessive.
Yeah, I am in the food of thought, or the strain of thought that better ingredients equals better pizza, like Papa John's. Yeah. So if I eat better foods, I'm going to get better results. Yeah. Like, you can do if it fits your macros and eat, random stuff. And then, but you still got to, at the end of the day, you still got to force in all your protein. And so what people end up doing is, I could just drink 100 grams of protein shake right now.
Gross.
And get my macros, but like you can only use, I think it's like 50 grams at one time, and your body has to at least start processing it before you can put more protein in it.
You can put however much you want. Your body will digest it, but it's the quality of the digestion process. Yeah, that's the worry there, because like you could just crap it out,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like you don't give your body an opportunity to like absorb all of it. Like you'll process it all, but not necessarily absorb it all. And that's why I'm like, well, if I eat chicken, at least my body is processing it. It takes longer to process, so you can actually absorb it. Whereas if like a protein shake, you could drink it and it goes right out because it's mostly in liquid form.
Well, it just digests faster with that part. But if you're having a big bolus of stuff, like at least when I used to intermittent fasting, you would have so many, let's say like 2,000 or so calories. Now your body's in a state where it can process things much better because you basically just haven't used it all day, right?
Yeah, the track is completely open.
Yeah, exactly. So you can have that big bolus of food, but it's still up to the individual how their body reacts to how much food that it can handle. So for some people, they can have those 4, 5, and 6 meals. Some people can have 1 or 2 big meals throughout the day, and it's cool. But like everyone's gonna be different with that. But like when you have so much protein at once, it gets very difficult to digest appropriately.
Yeah. And that's the other thing though too, is that it's a supplement. So what you want to do is get your food in, and then for what you can't get, that's what a supplement is for. It's for like when you can't get. So like what I'll do, I'll drink the protein shake along with a meal so that I'm getting it, like especially if the meal is like low in protein, I can't eat anymore, but I can drink more. Yeah. So that's how I get like the extra protein. But I don't do it as like a main, like, I could just drink 100 grams of protein in a day and I got, half of my protein for the day. No, you can
do that, but you have diarrhea, bro.
Yeah, your results aren't going to be as good.
Yeah, I remember I used to get my allocated amount of protein, I would have to have like 5 protein shakes a day. Just sucked. Like at a certain point, my body could only handle so much, and I would start bloating, getting gassy. You start seeing those things pop up after a little bit.
Yeah, what were you eating? Like 300 plus?
360, almost 400 grams of protein. I mean, it's cool. I was digesting it well at first, but what was weird? As soon as I got COVID, my digestion just went to crap. Excuse me, it's a PG podcast here. But it was weird because I completely dropped out what I was eating. Like I was like, all right, I can only have what I can have. So soups, crackers, whatever it was, not hard proteins. And then as soon as I was back to like 80 to 100%, right around there, I started having my regular meal plan after I grew back into it, and just wasn't processing anything the same.
I was watching this post, and this guy, I don't know where he was from, wasn't in shape at all, but he is professed nutritionist, and he's like, did you know that if you drink protein shakes, it doesn't digest for 7 years? And like I'm like, I think
I've seen that one.
I think you're confusing that with gum, and gum doesn't even do that.
Yeah. Bro, people say the wildest things, especially like on TikTok. Like I'll show you a few videos later, but people just say the wildest things. Like there's this black dude on there. He used to be like a pro bodybuilder, but it'll say, don't have protein shakes. Your body just doesn't digest it. Have eggs. Like what? Like, where do those two come into play? I'll just crack it up. I was like, this guy just says some wild stuff. Says something about not having fruit either because you don't digest fructose appropriately. I was like,
what?
Yeah.
Anything that's natural and it's one ingredient, bro, like there's nothing that I'm going to say, don't eat that.
Yeah.
Like if it's the actual like base ingredient, I would like, there's maybe the only thing I would say is like like soybeans. Probably don't eat a bunch of that because
even that's fine. different studies that just came out.
Yeah.
But you probably don't want to have like, I only have soy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
You don't want it to be soy everything, because for guys, it's not, well, anybody, it just produces too much estrogen. So
It just,
you know.
this just reminds me, brings me back to all these, far leaning people into certain directions, like Paul Saladino and the carnivore thing.
Oh,
I used to listen to this stuff all the time, and I was like, yeah, this is good. This is good stuff. Right. And then I started listening to more and more. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. What are you talking about, bro? And then you realize this guy's cherry picking everything he says. I'm like, man, I can't believe I followed that.
Yeah, the flavor of the day. Like, oh, this sounds good. This is catchy. Somebody will like this.
He said something about oatmeal, and I was like, that's not true at all. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah. I stopped listening to people when that kind of stuff happens. But when my friend asked me that, he asked me, he's like, hey, like, how do you stay disciplined? Like, I need more discipline. Like, how do I get it? And then I started thinking like, well, man, you can't just tell somebody, hey, just be more disciplined.
Yeah.
Like, that's my first thought. So when you think of discipline, like, what would your suggestions be when somebody says, hey, like, I don't have your discipline. What do I do?
Well, you can tell them be more disciplined, but the person who's asking you would probably need some steps, right?
Yeah.
Because the key is to start with having discipline. That's the easiest thing, right? So you start with a little thing and then work up to big things. It's like goals. You start with little goals that works up into bigger goals. So when you're first starting out, you just got to follow what you say you're going to do, right? At first, like we were talking about what Tristan brought up earlier when he said he would, oh yeah, I was going to make desserts for everybody. And I thought about it, but then something came up.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, but anyways.
Yeah. So our what we told him was, because he said, yeah, I wanted to do this, but I didn't. Hey, don't tell anybody what you're going to do. Yeah. Especially if you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Just do the thing, because then no one's let down or no one has this expectation. If you tell somebody, oh, I'm going to lose 100 pounds this year, and then you don't do it, all you do is let them down.
Yeah.
But if you just go out and do it and you only lost 50,
yeah,
now they're like, oh man, great job. But if you tell them you lose 100 and you only lose like 25, they're like, dang, you didn't even do what you said you were going to do.
Or it's just even the expectation of losing weight. Like if you don't tell anyone you're going to lose weight, they're not going to expect it of you. So they're always expecting you to be,
Where you're at.
fat and jolly, right? But if you lose it, they're like, oh, what the heck happened to you, man? That's crazy. Can you teach me a thing or two?
Yeah.
Right. So like in Tristan's case, it's like, just bake something, just create something. And then people are going to like you because you made something out of the goodness of your heart.
Yeah.
Rather than telling people you're going to make it, and in some fashion, some people are seeking glory in that. Like, I'm going to do this for you guys.
I told you I was going to do it, and I did it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't be attention seeking with it. Just, bring it out. But bringing it back to the discipline, it's like you got to start with the small things. Whatever you say you're going to do, just do that. Like this, you say you're going to go to the gym, you start going to the gym. Like, don't even say like, I'm going to go 5 days, I'm going to go 6 days. Don't say that. Do what you know you're going to do. So like 2 to 3 times, set a standard. Like, okay, these are the minimum amount of days I can make it to the gym. So let me hit that minimum. And then once I consistently hit that minimum, I can push it a little bit more. And it doesn't even have to be working out. This is what I tell people who first start getting to the gym. Just get into the environment. Because once you get into the environment, you start changing your environment altogether. It's like you're used to going here, but instead of going to that place now, you come to the gym. Now, you used to go to the bar for that half hour, that hour, but you come to the gym. You might sit down in the gym, might talk to people, but you're still in the gym environment. And eventually you're like, all right, maybe I'll throw in a workout here and there.
Yeah.
But it's just a slow rolling build of disciplinary actions. You do what you say you're going to do, and eventually it becomes habits. And then after that, I think it becomes a discipline in itself. It's like, I know I'm going to go here, and no matter what, I'm just going to do it. It's a habit now. I've disciplined myself into this habit.
You said, just have more discipline. I get that. Like, I hear that. And only because you and I are built that way. Like, just do this. Like, it's not like the Nike ad, hey, just do it and you can do it. Because some people have to have it. I think the saying goes for this the same way. You have to have money to make money. Well, some people have to have discipline or learn or have discipline to have more discipline. You can't just have something you don't have. Like, hey, you'd have more money to spend if you just had money. Okay, well, I got to learn how to make money to make money. So I think some people. So Corbin, yesterday, like he's always talking to me about, hey, how do I play basketball, or how do I shoot? I don't know how to shoot well. And so yesterday I spent, I think it was like an hour with him learning how to shoot. And he was doing different things that he had learned that were wrong. And so he wasn't enjoying the process because he didn't know.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to shoot. So then I taught him how to shoot, taught him the mechanics to shoot. And literally within an hour, anything within the key, he was making like 90% of his shots swishes. Like no joke, no lie. And then because he knew the mechanics, when he messed up, he knew, oh, I can't do that. So one of the things he was doing was he was shooting, but he was pushing the ball. So I was like, okay, you can't push the ball. It has to be a lever, and it has to be more of like a catapult. You have to launch it. And then, the intricacies, okay, make sure it comes off your fingertips. Okay, now it's coming off your fingertips. Mm-hmm. Okay, now make sure it's coming off of, the two middle fingers. And then the next step of, okay, when he would shoot, he would almost dab. So he would shoot like this, and then this hand would go across like this. So I was like, hey, if you can't see the goal when you go like this, you can't identify where your right hand was and understand that connects with you making the basket. So when you shoot like that and you block it and you make it, you don't connect what hand movement on your right hand did that. So what you need to do is use your left hand and follow through with the ball and go straight so you can continue to see your goal. Well, he started doing that. And then once he learned that he could do it, now I guarantee you later on today, tomorrow, he's going to have the discipline to go out and, I understand how to do this. And he's going to be disciplined enough to keep doing it because he has a little bit of success and understands how to do it. So like what you just said, someone doesn't know how to get disciplined going to the gym. Well, you just gave them, okay, I just need to go to the environment. Okay. Yeah. So they got step one. Now that I'm in the environment, okay, now I've created a discipline just to show up there. I'm not working out yet. I just have a discipline to show up. Now I realize every single time I come here, I'm just wasting my time. So I might as well start lifting some weights. Yeah. And then they gain a little bit more. My next step with him will probably be, hey, dribbling the ball and coming from a dribbling and then doing the shot. Because right now it's just spot shooting. Yeah. So there's just, to get better, he's going to slowly incrementally do something a little bit more extreme to get to that larger disciplinary, action.
I think the big part of discipline itself is to do how you said to do it on there too. It's not just like doing it, right? At first it's just doing it. Mm-hmm. You just get into the environment, just do whatever needs to be done at first. Then you start doing the intricate stuff. And the ability to keep to the intricate stuff is where that discipline is built, right? Because you can still do the same thing every day. You can still shoot, but it's a matter of like getting the actual, how would you say it? The form. Keeping the form the entire time when you're shooting. I think that in itself is going to be where discipline is built.
I think another thing that happens and people lose like inspiration to do something and to be dedicated to something is because they don't have like an idea of where they're going. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the gym. I'm disciplined to get here. And then now they're there and they're doing stuff, but they don't know what they're doing yet. And maybe they're there for 2-3 months straight. This is what happens every year. That's just going to happen next month, guaranteed. People are going to buy gym memberships. They're going to go to the gym. They're going to be hardcore for maybe a week. Yeah. But they do too much and they're like, oh, I'm too tired to go back to the gym. Like I'm too sore because they didn't have any guidance. Or maybe they even go for 2 months. But guaranteed, like this is what gyms, I'm sorry, gyms, but I'm going to give your secret away. Their hope and their secret is they get all these gym memberships in January and their hope is that nobody shows up the rest of the year. Like, don't show up. And then like someplace like Planet Fitness, I don't know whether every Planet Fitness does this, but their whole model is sell cheap plans to people that won't come.
Yeah.
So,
but they have a genius business model. Like,
oh no,
that's probably the best gym as far as like
it's
how
great.
Well the owner's doing.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, you're not upset about losing $10 a month or whatever it is.
It's just low enough to where you're like, yeah, whatever.
But I'll go. If I could just go once, I paid for it. You know, exactly. I'm good. So they get people that will go like once a month or not at all and keep paying the $10 so they can say, hey, I have a gym membership. Yeah. And that's it. But that's the whole goal. But then once somebody has a goal, so you have to have a goal. So my goal, like, honestly, I've had this gym for, an actual like legit gym. And I thought, oh, because I have it and I spent all this money, I have to be in here every day. And I was in there 6 days a week. and just kind of just, you know, I had a plan and I was going through it, but I didn't have a goal other than just let me work out.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm on this bodybuilding plan, dude, like my dedication and my discipline to get in there is way higher, even though it's less days, more rest, all these things, because I have a goal of why I'm doing it. And that changes the whole reason why my discipline, or how my discipline looks, and then me actually mentally connecting to my discipline.
Yeah. I mean, two things. Before, if you want to get in shape and you're starting out the new year, don't buy a gym membership. Invest your money in someone who's going to guide you through the process first. And then if they tell you to get gym membership, you get the gym membership. I'll tell you what, it's going to be more beneficial for you to drop the money on a coach, a trainer, whatever it is, than it is going to be on a gym membership, which you have no idea what to do to get in there, how to get in shape. Because you're probably going to go in there and you're going to run on the treadmill, you're going to lift some weights, and you're going to burn out in like that first month's time. If you have someone who guides you through the process, just like in anything else, you would pay someone to help you start up a business, right? Like you don't want that thing to fail right off the get-go. So why would you not pay to help someone through like a fitness process, right? Get you leaner, whatever body you're trying to get. Next thing, like just to relate to that guy, when did you talk about how you were like filling in your check-in, right? We were just talking about like, oh, I should be at this point here by this time, you know, because you have these high expectations of yourself by that period of time. I think that would be a very, very relatable thing.
Yeah. Well, I made a video on it. If you guys want to watch that, it's on YouTube. It shows like my 5-week check-in, but my first update. But like my expectation was like, hey, I'm putting in all this work. I should be at this point by this time. But what Austin did is he's the coach. He's someone that's like guiding me through it. And he's like, no, hey, you're doing everything you need to do, and puts it into perspective for me. Hey, you've only actually been doing this. It's been 5 weeks, but you've only been actually doing this portion of the plan for 3 weeks. And then he goes and gets the side-by-side photos and puts them in front of me. And I'm like, oh, shoot, my waist is smaller. My back is wider. Like, that's the whole point of having, like what he's saying, have a coach, somebody that can guide you through it so that they make you aware of the changes that you're making and whether they're good or whether they're bad or whether you need to, like you said, get a gym membership, tweak, adjust, all these things. Having someone discipline and guide you. To further that thought, when someone does a martial arts, it's called, hey, when someone says, hey, like what martial arts are you in? They always say, hey, what martial art are you disciplined in? Meaning it's something that you learned or you've practiced or somebody taught you and walked you through it. You can't just wake up one day and say, hey, my discipline is jiu-jitsu and I'm a triple black belt. No, somebody taught you and critiqued you and adjusted what you did and tested you and helped you build that discipline. So now you can say, hey, I'm disciplined in jiu-jitsu. I'm a triple black belt. I don't know what belts they have, but triple black star, whatever it is.
I think they go from degrees, first degree, second degree, third degree.
Yeah. So you get there because you're disciplined in the practice of something. And so now I'm learning, like this is why I said, like, so when I'm done with this bodybuilding phase of my life, it's probably something that I'll continue to do. I'll still have the bodybuilding mindset and what I do, but I'm going to go back to doing strength training, powerlifting training, and a little bit athletic stuff because athleticism is in me. I love doing that, but I'll incorporate all of it while doing the same thing because I don't know, the results from bodybuilding is this equal to if you're someone trying to raise your vertical and you're doing your vertical jump, and you're doing specific movements to get that vertical, and you go from like only jumping 6 inches off the ground to jumping a foot off the ground, you're like, ooh, I want to continue to do this because being able to get in the air like that, if you're someone that hasn't done it before, it's amazing to be able to jump high. Mm-hmm. And it's something that you want to continue to do. And the results you get from bodybuilding are very similar to where it's like, oh, wow, like this is changing. I would do 2 to 3 arm movements for triceps and biceps. Austin has me only doing 1. But he has me doing it in a way that I get more results than doing 2 to 3. And I realize I don't have to put in as many reps as long as my quality of the reps is better. And so like this is a discipline that I'm learning that someone has had to teach me, even though I've been lifting for, how old is Riley? 16?
16.
16. So I've been truly lifting for 16 years. And I never learned this stuff. Imagine if I had learned this discipline 16 years ago, I'd be a freaking beast right now.
Well, I'm saying like you'd have that, then you'd have your powerlifting too, and all your athletic stuff too.
Yeah.
In the background. But it's like, I think it's just not even like knowing that specifically. It's the ability to utilize it. You know, like you may know it, but you can utilize it when you need to. So you wouldn't have to do, let's say you didn't want to do bodybuilding. Like you're like, I don't need to work on hypertrophy so much. Well, now you can work on the nutrition aspect and do powerlifting stuff. Like you have to lose weight for a competition. You already know what to do exactly. Like this was my base diet for bodybuilding. Maybe my base diet for powerlifting is in a few hundred calories of this one. You know?
Austin said something to me earlier about being disciplined, that everybody is disciplined in something. So anybody that's listening right now, you are absolutely disciplined at something. Some people are disciplined at eating Oreo cookies. They're disciplined at 2:00 every day. Like I go into the pantry, I get a sleeve of Oreos and I eat the sleeve of Oreos. Or, you know, maybe you like to garden or something like that, and you just consistently out there pulling weeds. You are disciplined at keeping your garden bed clean. So everyone has a discipline. It's just learning a new type of discipline and having the right coach, whether it be YouTube, whether it be an actual live coach, or a book, but you have something guiding you and teaching you in order to learn the new discipline. I know how to do a lot of things. Like there's tons of, like pretty much anything. If someone's doing it, I can at least hang with whatever they're doing. So let's play foosball. Okay, I know how to play foosball. Pool, I know how to play pool. Ping pong, volleyball, football, baseball, basketball, darts, like every type of like hand-eye coordination type of thing, because I've learned all those things and I was never scared. I think fear is a big part about discipline too. Like, ooh, what if I actually do what I say I'm going to do? That scares people.
Yeah.
And like, oh, well, what life do I have to live? What do I have to give up to be disciplined? I'll tell you this much. A lot of people that I know that aren't disciplined in fitness specifically, they're like, oh man, getting up out of bed was really hard today. I think we talked about this before. Tying my shoe was difficult.
Gets heavy, man.
Yeah, I guarantee you, like you will have more gratitude for the discipline of fitness than probably almost any other discipline that's out there.
I think it translates to everything. You have to use your body no matter what.
Yeah.
We aren't in a what do you call it? An
Vacuum?
artificial or not, an artificial world yet, right?
Yeah.
Like you're still in the real world right now. And maybe when we get more advanced and you get more immersive into the internet, then you don't have to worry about it. But
what's that movie?
Ready Player One.
Oh, Ready Player One.
I think of Sword Art Online and that kind of stuff, like the animes.
Oh, okay.
But it's basically the same thing. You basically feel, touch. It was the same thing, huh? Smell.
Yeah.
See all this stuff that's in the virtual world that you could see in the real world, but we're not at that point yet. That would be cool though.
Oh,
actually,
I mean, it's there. I mean,
dude, how many people do you think, this is a tangent, but how many people you think would give up their real life for something like that?
I wouldn't be one of those people. I like real
But
life.
I just mean
but
not you. I'm talking about general populace. People would just like, oh, I hate my life. It's miserable. And they escape into video games, drugs, alcohol, that kind of thing. It's the same thing. It's escapism from the real world to live in this fake world.
Yeah, right? I think there's a lot of people. I wouldn't say 50% of the people, but I'd say there's a lot of younger people that are under 30 that they would be like, I don't want real life. If I could just do everything from my like with the headset on and like do all the stuff in the real world from here, they would do it. I mean, I don't see why somebody like, let's say somebody's a business analyst or an accountant or something like that, why you can't show up to somebody else with virtual goggles on and meet them in a virtual world and give them the information they need to know without ever leaving, your living room or ever leaving.
Yeah, I think that's fine to be able to do that. That does get rid of, like, to a degree, it's fine. Like,
as long as you get the work done.
Yeah. You still get that interpersonal relationship. It's still like, I think at that point you would be able to talk to people still like you would talk in person. Like you get that interpersonal conversation going that, people have, there's degrees of talking, right? You have texting, you have phone calls, you have in-person stuff. You still get the skills of talking to people in person by doing that on the web, even though it's on the web. But I think where the problem lies is if you just spend your whole life on there and your body starts degrading.
Oh yeah.
That's the issue.
And again, this goes back to, even if we were in a virtual world, fitness is mandatory. Yeah. Like you have to take care of it.
Well, your body's going to adapt to what you do with it. So you have to prepare it for for the world itself. You have to make it a little bit stronger to go about the day. So if you don't do that, things become much harder for you. Like you would think if you use your body less, then it has more energy to do things, but that's completely not true because it's not being prepared for what it has to do on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's kind of like maybe like a car that just sits somewhere for a long time and doesn't get used. It's not getting oiled. It's not getting, cleaned. You go to start it up and it's just not going to start on you after a while.
Like the batteries die in cars that you just don't start up every week, right?
Yeah. And so I think for us, it's kind of like the same thing. If you don't keep it moving, like you hear stories about guys that retire like in their old age and then they don't have anything to do. They don't find any hobbies and they just die. Yeah. Because one, they're not like challenging their mind anymore. And then they're not physically challenging themselves. So their mind and their body just is like, okay, I guess we're done. Like, cause you're not putting it to use.
Crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy.
It is really crazy to think about what can happen in the near future now. I mean, they might have a point where you won't even need your body anymore.
Yeah, potentially. And that's actually kind of scary.
But I think back to discipline, just to finish off on that, you could think of disciplines as habits, basically. You build the habit, you can build discipline. It's the same kind of concept. You're doing the same thing every day, whether it be like for the good or for the bad, it's under the same category.
Yeah, I think one final thought on it is that if you think that you can do something, you can do it. You might not be able to do it great, but you can do it.
Yeah.
And then eventually you can get great at it, but everything's going to start really slow. If you're either a slow learner or a slow perfecter, but you'll get there. And then if you think you can't do it, then you can't do it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to feed into that and you're going to tell your body, you can tell your mind, oh, we can't do this. Again, I go back to Corbin playing basketball for a long time, shooting the ball. He was like, I can't do it. And he didn't get better. And then just yesterday it clicked. He's like, I can do this. And then
it was funny. I remember, well, as he was growing and you guys would visit, he would say that all the time. I can't do that. He has that pessimistic kind of thing.
Yeah.
But slowly changing that.
Yeah. Yesterday was like a whole like light, a whole different light where he's like, oh, I can do this. He actually came home from weight room. I think this last week. He's like, Dad, I did a PR in squat. I was like, oh, what'd you do? He's like, I did 2 35s for 4. And I was like, that's good. Yes, I understand that Kinsley can do the same with 165 pounds and he was doing, 115, but still like, still good. It's progress for him.
Yeah.
So, but he was realizing I can do things if I apply myself.
I mean, another thing, like we talked to Tristan about, it's like, just don't think about it and just do it. Like for a lot of things, it's just about not thinking and just doing. I think we get wrapped up in thinking too much where the thinking stalls you. Yeah. It's very strange. Like a lot of these, I don't want to say dweebs, but Reddit people, those type of guys, they're like, oh, we're super smart thinkers. They're those type of people, right? I think about everything. I have all this time, and they're not actual doers. So they comment on all that stuff. Well, this wouldn't work out because of this. Well, you don't want to be that type of person. You want to be the person who's actually doing it and figure a way around it. Even if it doesn't work, at least you figured out it doesn't work. And you can do it another way. It's the same kind of process when building a discipline. It's like, well, maybe you can't do it that way, but you can do it somehow, Yeah.
Okay, so to recap on a couple points, I think the first point in being disciplined is know what your goal is. Have a short-term goal of what you want to accomplish in a short time, like what's feasible and what's possible, and then have somebody that's coaching you give you kind of work up like a long-term goal, whether it be like getting a job, getting a career, working out, like all that stuff. There should be disciplines to get there. Second thing is you got to have I think we said a coach. I don't know if that's the second thing, but yes, have a coach or someone, a mentor to get you there. Third thing, have a plan, an actual plan to do it. So you have your goal, a mentor to help you do it, and a plan. And then finally, I think, just have the mentality that you can do it.
Don't think, just do.
Yeah. Just do it.
Yeah. See, it comes back to it. It comes right back to it. Just do it. Just have more discipline.
Yeah. Just have more discipline. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for listening. Hopefully some part of that helped you guys learn how to be more disciplined. And if Austin specifically can coach you with fitness, he's always available. And his Instagram will be at the end of this video. And then if you just want like life coaching, or somebody to help you out with things that you've heard us talk about and you just want advice, like we're open to giving it. Hey, if you mess up your life because you take our advice, as a disclaimer, that's not my fault. You did you did it wrong. But I would tell you this much, that we do have a lot of wisdom from messing up. So I encourage you to do and to mess up and to learn, and that's how you get better. I mean, from failure. You don't
be afraid to mess up.
Yeah. You don't learn no one learns anything from success. You learn very little from success. You learn how to adjust and adapt and become better because you fail, not because you win.
Yeah, you know that thing about reward systems, like, oh, you tend to do a certain thing because you're rewarded with it. I think people learn better by failure. Like, you don't have to touch a fire anymore because you burn yourself, right? Yeah. Fear is the ultimate motivator, I think.
Oh yeah, it's like if you're a sports team and you win every single game, you don't learn anything new because you're
like, oh, just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, you don't adjust. You don't get better. You just do the same thing until you finally. It's like, I don't know whether it's like the Mighty Ducks where they were beating every team, and all of a sudden they played the Iceland team, and the Iceland team does these new things. Yeah, and they're like, oh man, what's going on? We're not as good as we thought. Yeah, you're not, because you've been doing the same thing, and now you hit a wall where you need to adjust. Mm-hmm. So, like, man, just realize that through this journey of discipline in anything. Like, I want to be more disciplined with getting up on time. Well, then set your alarm. If you always hit your button twice and snooze it twice, we'll set it 2 snoozes earlier
to get it across the room.
Yeah, put it across the room.
You have to get up.
You had to change things. You can't keep doing the same thing and become somebody different. You have to do something different to become something different. And on that, thank you for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video.